Armory disc golfers, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the new UDisc ratings and PDGA ratings and how they relate and how they don't relate, what they're good for, what they're bad for, how to get an equivalent PDGA rating from your UDisc rating, and I'll show you my UDisc rating for this round. Let's get into it. Oh, beautiful. UDisc ratings have been out for a while now at this point. And honestly, I'm surprised that people haven't made this video yet because a lot of people want to know how to compare a UDisc rating to a PDGA rating. I always short arm those types of shots. Well, I hate this. Drop in. But first, we've got to talk about what UDisc ratings are. And UDisc tries to make this sound super complicated, like a neural network, AI power, and all this stuff. They took millions of different rounds. They figured out what the average round was for the average player. They bell curved it and they made a rating system off of it. So because they're taking the average player's average score at each course and then using that to make the ratings, that means that easier courses are going to rate worse than harder courses, and harder courses are going to rate better than easier courses, which I think is a good thing. Because shooting a 50 at a course like this should rate better than shooting a 50 at some pitch and putt course. I've got these little stumps in my way that you're about to have to see me high step over in my run up. Oh, goodness grief. Push. And this is a lot closer to golf's handicap system, where you know going into a course about what you need to shoot to achieve a certain rating, and it's not based on the people you play with that day, how they play that day, what they're rated that day. Ooh, I'm okay with that run. Compare that to the PDGA system, which does take into account the players that are playing that day, what their rating is. It takes into account how the field plays on that course. You have very similar but also distinctly different rating systems. You're also about to get a distinctly different look because it is not cold enough for me to wear this hoodie the entire round. I do not care as long as I'm out of the gap. Also, for what it's worth, I think the PDGA system is a really good one. And there are a lot of nuances that go into how ratings are calculated and all that, which I'm not gonna go into full detail here. I will in a later video. If y'all are interested in that, let me know down below. But there is one thing that I do want to say about the PDGA system, especially how it relates to the UDisc system. And then I'll tell you how to calculate a PDGA rating for your UDisc rounds. Actually, I'll say two things about the PDGA system. One, I like that it has variable ratings because it does take into account if I'm playing in rain and 20-mile-per-hour winds or a bright, calm, sunny day. And two, there is no hidden course rating for the PDGA system like a lot of people think that there is. That is an extremely common misconception. Like I said, I'll cover more of that in another video if y'all want to hear it, but it differs from UDisc in that it does have a set course rating underlying it. The PDGA system is only based off of how that field plays on that course, on that layout, on that day. Bam, birdie. And later in the video, we'll talk about something else that makes the PDGA unique that I really like about it. But first, I gotta try to birdie a 200-foot hole. Skip. Oh, these stupid clumps of mud. Who doesn't love Anheuser jump putts? Oh gosh, me. And who doesn't love fighting for par on a 200-foot hole? Also me. So one rating is more course dependent, one is more field dependent. So how do you compare the two? Well, a rough way to estimate what your UDisc rating would be as a PDGA rating is to take your UDisc rating, multiply it by 2, and then add 500. That's it. And again, this is a rough estimate. You're never going to have an equation that perfectly correlates every single time. But after extensive research at Jesse's library, I found that there are some people who have calculated a couple different ways, and there's different more complex equations that you can put in if you want to get a more precise number. But for most people in most rounds, multiply by 2, add 500, that's about where you stand. Checking back in, I've played a couple off camera. I'm gonna play all 18. I'm not gonna show all 18, we don't have time for that. Something that UDisc and PDGA ratings both do that is the correct thing to do is they base their ratings off of strokes, not off of score relative to par, which again is the correct move, and one that sometimes people get confused about with PDGA ratings. It doesn't matter what you are relative to par. Oh, it's too low. I mean, it's to a lot of things, goodness grief. Keep riding, piggy. Keep riding, baby. Ooh. Pig and putt. Dang it. UDisc ratings are really helpful if you go to a new course for the first time and you know that you average like a 200 at your home course. Now you know when you shoot a 5 over or whatever it may be at some course in another city or another state and it rates 200, you know, oh, that was about how I play at my home course, or maybe I played a lot better or worse or whatever. It gives you a consistent rating to go off of. Trying a new strategy on this hole. Oh, it's gonna bail out right. Not a huge fan of this new line here on this hole. Airballed from 50, made a 20-foot comebacker, apparently didn't film it. But that last forehand was awful, so redemption here. 412 feet. Come out of it. Destroyer, please, destroy things. Yeah, that'll be edge of circle. Maybe inside, probably just outside circle. Dreamy little jump putt. Hey! Another thing that I really like about the PDGA ratings that the UDisc ratings just don't capture is the tournament nerves. Similar to how Worlds is the most important major of the year, it's the most important tournament of the year just because people care about it more. Similarly, PDGA rated rounds just matter more than casual rounds. So I could shoot a 250 here today, double that, add 500, say bam, I can shoot a 1,000 rated round on this course. But when it comes down to actually putting an official PDGA rating on the line, who knows if I hold up under that pressure. Drop, 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 get lucky, get lucky, get lucky. Well, I mean, drop now. And I like seeing how I stack up. Whenever it matters to me, whenever it matters to whoever I'm playing against, how do we actually stand up against one another and compete? There's no right or wrong there. It's just a preference thing. And don't get me wrong, I like playing casual rounds too, but I like seeing how I stack up. This is tricky. Ooh. Skipped a couple simple ones, but I've got to film these harder holes. See? I say that because I don't know what I'm at yet, but I do know that I've managed to avoid blowing up on some of these holes. Don't short arm it. I short armed it, man. Another big difference between PDGA ratings and UDisc ratings is that UDisc rates your rounds, but it doesn't rate you as a player, whereas the PDGA bundles up all of your rounds together and ascribes it to how good you are as a player overall, which can be good, can be bad. Speaking of good and bad, I just noticed that my two overstable 9-speed options kind of complete each other. Should I dye them both to be full orange? Should I leave this combo? I don't know. Oh, that could be so good. That might be my best drive ever on this hole. Turns out, yes, easily my best drive ever on this hole. Being able to look at the basket on your second shot is incredible. And you would think that that would inspire confidence in me. You would think wrong. Settle. Pig and putt, baby. Dude, that feels so good. You know what? I'm gonna reward the pig on a job well done. You get yourself some chains. If you haven't done so already, let me know what you prefer between the UDisc and the PDGA rating and why, while I play the hardest hole I have ever played. Seriously, if I take a 7 here, I will be okay with that. Not happy, but okay. Jump, big jump. Unnecessarily nice jump. Dang it, we're on our way. It is very, very difficult to even par this hole if you don't get to this corner off the tee. And so now I'm going to get greedy and get extremely lucky. Get out of those trees. Dang it. Okay, not extremely lucky, but lucky. The fact that you cannot see me in here should tell you something about the quality of my lie. I should really be intelligent and just pitch out, but instead, perfectly to the middle of the fairway. After all of this, I still have to go down to the end of this tunnel, like a 90-degree turn left, down another 150 feet, and then another 90-degree turn left. Oh, cut, cut. Yeah, that'll be okay. Oh, you need to get on your back quick. Get on your back. Go! Well, anyway, like I said about that 7, well, my rating will reflect that. You are not great, but you can make putts. Hey look, it's the edge of circle rangefinder guy. It's me, and it's 37 feet. Oh, and it doesn't matter. we're on the emergency battery on the camera right now. This video is probably quite a bit longer than normal videos. So if you have stuck around until now, thank you. Do me a favor, leave a like if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe, and we're ending here on another par 4. Oh, that I think I just threw absolutely perfectly. Oh, that feels good after that disaster on 16. Nope, it was not perfect. And I think that I'm now gonna have to throw like, oh, there's no way. Ugh. Goodness grief. That's horrible. Whatever, it's an up and down. And now it's nice and windy out here. Not that my rating will reflect that, of course, but wind is never something an A2 has cared about. Well, distance is. That'll be fine. All right, final putt. Now just gotta calculate my UDisc rating, which is very officially a 235, which would equate to 970. That felt about how I played. And again, with the whole making things equivalent, you're going to be up or down a little bit based on this, obviously, because it doesn't factor in how everyone else played today, what the course conditions were, and it's just not a one-to-one equation. But it's close enough. That felt like a 970-ish rated round. It's fine. So UDisc versus PDGA, both have their ups, their downs, their goods, their bads. I still slightly prefer the PDGA rating system. I know that's kind of like a hot take right now, but I think that it's pretty good. Thank y'all so much for watching. I look forward to chatting with you about other stuff in the future, so subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.